Well, hello, and welcome. This is Julie with the Jewel Design, and here we are today as we are working on another journal as usual. And this one is featuring the newest vintage layered tall papers and ephemera. I was just going to show off the pages, right? I was going to just go, oh, here we go. And a friend of mine came over last week, and we did takeout. And they, like all the non-essential stuff, I guess, you know, or the harder stuff that you bring home with, right, when you're doing takeout, came in these beautiful white paper, like, lunch bags, right? And I was so stoked. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're just as tall as the pages. See? Just as tall as the pages. Just a little bit bigger. Now, they are definitely a lot wider than the pages, but they were as tall. And I didn't have to, like, tweak with anything. And I thought, oh my gosh, we love our paper bags. We love folding them in half. And, you know, there's a pocket, and you make a pocket. And, you know, we do all kinds of things when we fold them in half. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to do it the other way, though? And what if we make it a cover? But I figured, since these pages are pretty basic, I added a few of my extra laces and stuff, some papers that I had. This is a cute standard little 48-page tall journal here, right, with some writing space, but a lot of pretties to look at, and probably if I have pockets when we're done with it, it's going to be more of a lookbook with some writing in it. But I thought it'd just be a fun little insert, an extra, to the ephemera, more of ephemera holder covers in the paper bags. So I went ahead and played with the back to make sure I could work out all the bugs, right? And I went ahead, you know, we're gonna leave the top, okay, because we have to have a pocket. And I cut the bottom open so that we could make a full, here, I'll do this. So we could do a pocket here on the bottom, right? If I can get it in here. Why are you sticking? There we go. Pocket on all the way down to the bottom. Found another little waxy envelope and made a pocket here. Of course, there's one right behind it because, of course, the pocket, when you don't use the flap, it has its own opening, right? And I found these are the teacher, like, name tags for desks for the kids. And they were at Target way back when. And I cut a piece out. And so I glued, let it glue down, but you can see the backing, and you can stick journal cards or whatever here on the top and still see them. So that was a fun addition. Now, it did have another pocket here across, but the clear paper clear plastic stuff I was trying to use did not stick. So we're gonna try to make a vellum pocket here, and then I'm gonna show you, what I sort of attempted here to make this definitely a lot more sturdy, because this is pretty, I don't know, papery thin. So when you put nice paper on the back, you put other paper on the front or inside, and you put pockets, it gets pretty stout pretty quickly. And I think I know a way to still sew in the signature here and be able to open it, but not have something that's bound. We're so used to having pre-done, it's folded in half, or it's a book spine that keeps them together. And I don't think I want to do a tab. Now, if I go to try to stitch this and it doesn't work, I will tab then. We will do a nice heavy, paper tab to keep these two together, and then I guess stitch the 3 dots in between. But, I don't know how well it's going to work, so we'll see. I'm thinking if I can try to sew it in, since we're going through a piece of paper, the bag, another piece of paper, like, it should hold nicely. The ordeal. I'm going to do 3 grommets, and I'm stitching something through them. So that part I don't know for sure, but I thought I'd walk you through how to decorate and create some lovely pockets to hold all this lovely ephemera that comes with the kit. And then, there's, of course, a few pockets and stuff that we can use on the papers. We may have to trim them down just a little bit because I forgot to reshape them, to resize them to fit it. When I did the Botanical Garden skinny papers, I knew to make all my ephemera thinner, and I totally forgot when I did these. So we'll have to do a little tweaking, but everything can be trimmed down. I always do it to where you can probably trim off a little bit of everything, and it'd be fine. We'll make it work. So, how are all of you? I am really excited because this one is my, one of my coin pockets, and I think I'm going to make it a fold over the page thing. I'm going to notch here, we're going to notch it over here, I think, and then we're going to use the tabs, as we see fit to help with pockets. But yeah, I'm really stoked about this one. So, I know I made them we made them as pockets, as coin pockets are, and now I think we have so many of us that love doing the over-the-page folds that this makes for a wonderful over-the-page fold. I know there's the tabs on the bottom, See, and I love keeping those. So I think for this part though, I love the excess like over the page. Like I think it's going to be awesome to have that sort of extra prettiness, right? And so we can glue around this edge and glue the tab down, and I think it gives us a nice wide pocket. On the other side, it's just skinny and it's easy. I wanted to put it here because I was really tempted to glue top and bottom here on the page and make it a side tuck in, but I don't know if I want to lose that hole because I like doing our whole pockets. But I know it's supposed to be a how-to, and I'm getting terribly sidetracked already, which doesn't surprise me. But I think before I forget, because you know how that goes, I'm going to offset this a little bit, and we're going to, ooh, not that deep. I don't want to lose the flowers, but I do want enough to where when it's on the page, you can tell where your little, you know where the pocket should be with a little thumb notch. So I'll have to say it's probably one of the many things with Crafty Cat that I watched her do that I will always remember and always do. So funny. Amazing what things you pick up from, designers as you first get going and you watch and you're just like, oh, I have to do that. I have to always do that. Like, how can I not do that? So funny. Alright. So, but yeah, there's plenty of ephemera. What did I do with all of it? So you have like 6 pages of ephemera. That's just enough to get going in this kit to get you started. And I know so many of us are building our own ephemera lately. So, okay, to finish this one off though, as you can see, I used a piece of extra paper that came off the edges of things I was cutting. Went to go fold it in half to give an edge to a clear pocket so you could see where the pocket began. Except the clear stuff I was using just would not stay glued down. So I went ahead and printed one of the pages on vellum, because I know that vellum pockets have been the other big thing, and we're going to try that instead. We're going to try to glue the edge to the vellum, and then we're going to glue the vellum to here and see if we can get this. I really feel bad though, because I did all this pocket work and did this reverse circle thing, and then I'm like covering most of it up. I didn't really think my way through that when I was working on it. I was kicked myself a little bit there. Okay, so really quickly we're going to do this. Now I did use the Fabri-Tac thinking that would help keep the plastic in place better, because I normally when I glue stuff onto vellum and plastic, I use the Fabri-Tac, and it just wouldn't hold. It didn't stay. Every time I tried to get into the pocket, and everything popped out. And I'm still in place. Okay. So, that doesn't do much good. But here, let me do this really quick. We'll let it dry. And then let's get on to the nitty-gritty. Because if I don't, my how-to here video will not be very how-to if I'm off on, if I'm off. But so, yeah, we'll cut it. It'll be sort of an extension of this in the back, which is nice. But I wanted to overlap a little bit into this pocket, but not too much. And of course, it's going to get cut right here, but I did want it to tuck underneath. So we're probably going to make it a little shorter. I know this time I didn't, well, this time we'll fix this a little bit, but we're going to make the pocket inside so it sticks underneath a little bit so that it does overlap and things line up nicely. So anyway, let's see how we get here, right? So I'll walk you through what I got going and how I did it. So of course, yes, I wanted the flat on the inside. I did ink everything, which I have not done yet. So I might have to pause this really quickly and get back to it. We have papers. I now even did the pretty blue and cream background on a little bit of a vellum piece that I had. Really thick vellum. I don't even know where this came from. I think from my mom's stash. And so I did do a small stash if I wanted to do more of a blue-based vellum pocket on this side. But I'm definitely utilizing all of my scraps from everywhere to make sure. Now we have this beautiful border. It may decide that I go, this way and this. Like, I don't know. I want to get a little bit more crafty with the front. It is the front page, the inside front, right, of this. But, we have this, but we also have similar pieces. So I sort of want it to match and a little bit mimicky. But I also, want it to do its thing. So we'll see. So, like I did over here, though, I wanted to sort of make it work. So this time, instead of doing 2 sheets, though, I think, because of the way the sides are and how this panned out, this time I should be able to rip it, and it should go right on the inside of this page, no problem. We have then, and the fun part about the front cover this time is not only are we putting this on the front, which doesn't quite cover top to bottom, because we have to trim off the whites. It definitely leaves, as you see, excess around the edge, which for the back, I had to make up the difference since I happened to rip this oddly. I put some parchment paper, I really distressed the edges and allow that to be its own thing. So being the cover, depending how it sews, I made a side then to find spots on the outer edges, right, to flat decorate it to where it just has a nice umph on its own. So we'll see how many more layers gets put on. That is the back one, so we'll see. Front's always prettier, but I did make this one my lovely scalloped clutch purse envelope, and I felt that this would be a great way to sort of fold it and then flip it out. So like our flip-flop journals, we'd use things on the front, and I think having the envelope on top, and it helps close it together, but then as you untie it, it opens up. It can maybe have more ephemera in it. So since the covers are all about being an ephemera holder of sorts, I want to make sort of a hide hold, like when we unwrap it, you know, we open it up and there is a really pretty piece of ephemera. Now, these don't go, but I think doing a collage of some sort with leftover papers, with any of my botanicals that I might have roaming around, I think to put a very personalized, you know, collage page decorated in the envelope will be a nice hint, a nice touch on the inside when we're done. So that is the ultimate goal to put on the front. So there we go. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go and I think rip these pages real quick, and I'm going to distress around the whole thing, and then I'll walk, you know, then I will glue and walk through like where I felt sort of worked for cutting this and whatnot with you guys. So I will construct that together. But let me get the nitty gritty out of the way real quick, so that way I don't forget and we don't layering it back on. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. And are you running? Yes, okay. Last time I did this, I hit the stop instead of the pause button. All right, okay. So I went ahead and distressed around the edges pretty heavily because the papers are, I don't know why I came up so short. I think I goofed when I'm like going, why do they come up so short? And I'm looking at going, how did I do that? I shouldn't have that much, I shouldn't have a problem left to right. But I think because I knew top to bottom, I wanted it sort of even, so I did cut it up a little short. So yeah, since was trying to have sort of an even frame around it, you know, give or take, minus the bottom because it goofed when I ripped it. Yeah, I came up a little short. Now I'm going to probably go a little tighter this time on the edges here. I'm going to want it to go as far up and far over as I possibly can this time, as evenly as I can possibly do it. Haha, right? So the bottom, we are definitely going to want to put something here. And I absolutely happen to just do some distressed paper with some green in it. Plus, I mean, I can border it with a blue. I have other pieces we could probably put across the bottom of the other range if I really wanted just to blend something else into the bottom. So, last time I did parchment paper on the back as well. It's low key, not a big deal. But this time, you know, we'll have to see. But before I do any of this beautiful work, haha, I want to show you sort of how I cut the bottom here. And as you can see here, yeah, you know, it's a flap, so it opens up. And I have always just made it a tuck when I was doing books, right? When I did these as journal covers, little mini ones, right? I would just glue here, and we would tuck something in, and it would just be sort of a semi-tuck, right? It's not a full pocket. Now we are definitely looking at the potential of, you know, of making it a full pocket because we want to put something in it. So you want to make sure all your flaps, any loose paper you can find is sort of glued down because it makes it a lot easier to cover it with paper later. Plus it solidifies whatever we might need. Now be careful when you come up here because I know we have to cut into stuff, and this is where I didn't do it as well as I was hoping. I thought I could just cut across here, but then all this excess fold stuff, right, comes into play. So here we will try to see if I can better it. I know I didn't do it on camera the first time, thank God. But then I'm like, okay, well, how do we do this? Because even if I cut across here, and I be careful to do it because I don't go all the way through, I still have to go back in the other way. So let's see something here. Let's see. Let's do it lightly. So this time I don't cut through anything maybe I don't want to. And the nice thing is with these bags, you do a lot of gluing anyway around the edges. I go ahead and I glue down the sides of the bags. Anything that would have made it, you know, gusset and open up, you know, the sides here, I glue them down, and on the inside we glue down one side to make it nice and thick and definitely doable. Like, so we're not Don't go all the way to the edges because you don't want to cut off. Don't go all the way out here because you could cut it off altogether. You just want to do enough to... Okay, so see, we have a pocket here. But that doesn't make it very easy, and it makes it pretty narrow because you do have that inner flap we were just talking about. This right here is now in the way. So you have to sort of cut through it to glue it down. So this is where you could take your scissors now that you can see what you're doing. And we're going to cut, technically this. We're going to cut, you know, not all of it, just the top portion first to be able to open up this pocket. Actually, I cut all the way through. We're going to cut that flap. We're going to now match it up so that when we open it, you know, hopefully nothing through here got cut, but we're trying to open up that bottom of the bag. There's my cat doing, I don't know what she's doing now. As usual, using the litter box when I have to film. She is famous for that right now. Alright, so we're doing both sides. I think this is going to be a little bit better than when I did it the first time. Haha. I mean, it's still, there might be a better way to do this. Most of the time we just don't create a lot of excess, right? Because we don't want to cut through the back. I don't want to cut through too much. It is a little temperamental. The whole point is you're trying to open it up to where you can seal it in the right spots and make the proper pockets. And I'm not doing it right. I don't know how I did that last time. Now I'm looking at it going, you don't want to rip through, but you are going to you are re-gluing the edges down. You just want to make it big enough to get a nice pocket of stuff in there. So if you have a better way to do it, hey, hit me up, let me know. But I just did my best to cut across without going, I mean, you could cut all the way across, I guess, because you would be gluing it back down. But I tried not to, I guess. So that's where I'm a little weird. Now, the other thing you have to keep in mind is deciding whether or not you're going to glue those inner flaps to which end. Now, I did it to make this part, since it's so much heavier, I took that gusset and I glued it down to the inner side, not the outer side. So that when we put everything, it slid everything in here, right? It wasn't going to get caught in any folds. So that was my, preferred method. Always has been, I pick a side and make sure everything's glued it down to it. But you'll keep checking it because, like here, you can see I have a hole right here. And, you're going to keep closing up these unexpected holes. We only want the one big one, right? We only want the one that makes our pocket and nothing else. So let's see if we can, keep touching that. And it is paper, and that is the thing. It's a paper bag. You're like, oh my gosh. So I think what I'm going to do is first, since I haven't opened this time, last time I did this to where I was, so I'm going inside and I'm going to go up and down. Hopefully you guys can see. Up and down this lip here. And let me see before I do that. If I do it, is it going to help me? Yes, it will help me all the way down. Okay. Right, you just start figuring it out. You have to sort of deconstruct and reconstruct what you're trying to do. And hope I didn't just undo what I just did. Ah! Come on, did I just undo it? I want to go straight down here. No, I did. Okay, I did it right. I might have done on the outside. I was like, please tell me I did that the outside and not the inside. Because I'm trying to show you guys on camera. You know we're going to mess up, right? So how are we all doing? May is going to be done before we know it. I'm doing this on a Thursday night, but I don't know, last time I tried to do this, I had a delay because of, a router issue. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to try to just smooth things out to where I have as many flat areas as possible. And, I'm just going in and, cleaning things up. Making sure that I'm not going to have something that's going to get in my way when I want to go put things, pockets in here. And it may or may not work. Oh, see, I did that backwards this time. That size on that one, but that is, I think it's how I cut it. Ooh, uh-oh. Well, if it stays flat, it's flat. It may work. Yeah, I did those backwards. They actually are folded and cut it differently. So, and the nice thing is because we're covering everything, even though there's a slit here, I'm covering it with paper. It doesn't matter, right? There's some forgiveness, some ability to forgive some areas. But anyway, go try to glue down as many holes and pockets as as many folds to each other as you can, because we just want nice, solid, thick paper, right? We just want paper. We want nice, thick paper. So I'm going to go up and down the gusset here. I don't guess it's the right word. I keep using gusset. I don't know if it's the right one or not. I don't think it's the right word, but the folds that, you know, help you expand. When it's folded, it's nice and condensed and tight, but when you open it up, you got this depth all of a sudden, right? So, whatever that is. But I am trying to get in there, and I didn't do what I wanted to do after all of that. I totally forgot. Then I got so excited. Gotta get back in there, because now I do have to glue enough of my inner gusset then to the book, or to the thing, and go down as far as you can, or just get to the outer edges. It's all about the outer edges where your goodies, whatever you are putting in this pocket, are going to get caught up on, right? Put it in there, wipe it down, and go back in there, open it up, make sure nothing's stuck that you don't want to stick. I really wish I could show you guys better, like, right? So, as you can see the difference here, right? So this is open. Yes. This is open. You see the gusset like we made in my pocket. This is now glued together to make it very, you know, make it thicker and a little more stout, that's the other thing. This definitely makes it a stouter option. So when you keep adding papers to it, it isn't going to rip on a moment's notice, especially when you're trying to make it a cover. It's a little more complicated, right? And an ephemera holder where it's going to hold things, and well, you want to make sure that it's going to hold it. It's going to hold. It's going to do its job. Because they would seem fine. Oh, these are really stout. And then it was like distressing it and stuff. And you're like, huh, that sort of gets a little rippy. All right. So we've got that. Now, the only thing I'll have to debate on is at one point I may decide I cannot make anything big enough to put in here. And I may decide to reach in and glue down an area so that the pocket only goes so far down. Right? I may decide that no matter how hard I try, I can't make a journal card or whatever to fit all the way down the pocket, or I just make it too heavy. I could put the journal itself into one of the two pockets, the front or back, but that seems sort of odd to stick the journal, I guess, into one of the into the cover pocket of the ephemera holder. I don't know why that seemed weird to me. May not be. Yeah, never know. I may decide that that is the best way to go about it in the end. Alright, so we're going to go down here and up here. We're going to get all this all glued. And now I am going to glue not all the way up, because we do want to stick some kind of pocket, like I did last time, down in here. So I did not give myself enough room last time to sort of tuck before I finished gluing. So this time I want to make sure, like, I have a little room up here, a little bit of a flappy space to tuck things into. I will also not overdo the, plus the pages back here. That was the other thing. I could barely tuck these guys back behind it too. So we need to be able to put your paper back here so it's not seen. Where the background here drops into your pocket. Plus, if we do anything else to tuck in here, we want to make sure this is the last thing, like the last edges we glue down. This time I did, for some reason on this one, I used two different pieces of paper. I wanted something. I did upside down because I wanted it on this side. And ended up doing a piece of the front on the back. Now this time I think I want to go all the way across this time. For the front, I'm going to go all the way across this time, all the way to the edge, since it has that sort of middle feel. And we're going to put this on this side this time. And we're going to sort of mirror it and sort of not. So I did start distressing around the edges to where I knew I wanted. And then I would finish ripping it with you guys, trying to like measure it out and place it. And we'll distress it from there. But it's not perfect. You know, I'm using the We Are rulers for the ripped pages only because, though I can use Tim's deckled edge cutter on this side, I can't use it on the long side. So I didn't want to fold it in half. I didn't want the folds anywhere. So I have to do it by hand. And that's where we get, you know, imperfections here, which it just makes it that more vintage. These are vintage layered papers. So I feel like the rips and the distressing just add to another layer of it. So, okay. So now we can do one of two things. We can do the front, because I know that one's going to go. I love this one. I love how I love the green and the pinks and the beiges that pull from this. So that's why I'm using this as the front. And it is going to be sort of the opposite. Well, this is the inside back, where the green's on the top outer edge. It's not being sewn. This will be the reverse. So when you're looking at it here to here, the greens are sort of both on the outer edges of the cover, ephemera holder cover. So that's my personal preference there. Now we're going to assume we're just not going to reach the bottom, and that's okay. It's not going to be the big deal. We will put another layer down there, or I may decide to strengthen the top, and we're going to put on the bottom, since this is sort of gappy up here, and maybe we're going to border something this way. Haven't decided yet, but which means I have to decide before I glue it down. I just realized that, huh? But I'm having it much tighter this time. Whatever we do, I'm giving very little border around the, very little bag border this time. Compared to the back page, which definitely had a lot of it, we're going to do less of it this time. Now, if I really wanted to, I could just put this strip right across the back. I mean, across the top, just to, there we go. Not too shabby. But how are we doing? We're coming to the end of May. I know this is Memorial Day weekend coming up, so you'll see this video probably sometime throughout the weekend. I don't know if it'll go up by Friday or if it'll be a Saturday thing. No clue. Depends how long it takes me to do this thing. And then it'll be, maybe it'll be a slight weekend project with you guys. How we're turning a paper bag into a ephemera holder covers. Ephemera holder cover, or it would be like my mom's folio ephemera holders, but except I'm using the bags, and it is the cover to a tall, skinny journal. Mostly it's for the ephemera, but we're going to put a journal in there because why not, right? Okay, so I like the idea of it going on the bottom. I wish I'd cut this out because she's going to go, I know she's on her side and it's a little weird, but I think we're going to put it in here in such a way where it's grommeted here, so it's going to be closed up like any other of my, it's one of these. Okay, so I think this is a good example. It's a little smaller, but not by much. I think it's going to sit here where this is grommeted, and it's going to wrap around to keep it closed. But when we undo it, even though it's attached, it can be flipped. Or I want the pretty, and it's sewn on the, like it's more on the inside, and it's wrapped back around outside. So when you undo it, you can do this, and there's stuff in it you can look at. That way you don't really lose either side of this, but you do lose that, and that is a bummer, because that's really, I mean, it's floral, it's really pretty. Not a bad thing to see this on the outside. I'm going to find a fun way to be able to use this and see all of it and not glue anything down, and it just sort of like unwraps and it unravels off, but is like sort of glued down but not. So, I don't know. We're going to have to get crafty with that. There's a lot of craftiness still to be done, but right now I figured, well, it's, cover and tweak and play. But I think we're definitely going to put that in, more in the middle here, so we want something to sort of border the top. But I want it to be cohesive, and I do want it to all go together. So I'm either going to put, like, I'm like, do I want to rip it in a way that's sort of uneven, which helps with all the layers? Funny thing, I distressed that, so I don't know whether to distress on top. I don't think I have anything really fascinating over here. I mean, I have squares and stuff. I did go ahead when I printed this. There are 3 background pages, which is what you're seeing right now. These, the blue, this green, and the fleur-de-lis color are all the backgrounds to this kit. And I did print them out, all 3 twice, on top of what was on the back side of things. And I went ahead and, did it that way because I wanted to have these pages without any ink on the back, so I'm not wasting it, to decorate all this with. I needed to decorate the pages. And I love that corner, so I'm almost wondering if I need to, since it's not really on here, we're going to sort of collage up here. We'll distress everything, we'll collage it maybe back on in place. And then, that way I can give it a little bit of extra oomph up here, right? Of course, I ripped it that way, but that didn't do me any good. Oh, but the moment I do that, I cover up some of my green. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm wondering if... Is that big enough? No, it's not quite long enough. Maybe if I go wide, but I don't know if I want to just keep wish-washing it a certain way. Maybe put this one under for some color, but not over. Okay, now I gotta figure out. Now I can use the deckled cutter because that is such a tiny little area. My printer keeps defaulting to a weird A4 print job, and it's literally printing one side itty bitty tiny little edge, and the other side bigger. I do not know why. I mean, I'm getting it across the page, but it's not saying centered. I do not know what's up, so I'm trying to keep catching myself and making sure it's printing, I guess, you know, the right coherent way. Which, yeah, haha. So what are our plans for Memorial Day weekend? Are we barbecuing? Are we hanging out with friends? Are we boating? Are we camping? I've camped for Memorial Day weekend. Of course, barbecuing is always fun. Usually Monday night Memorial Day would be definitely hamburgers and hot dogs. Stephen was big on like 4th of July and Memorial Day, or Memorial Day and Labor Day. He always liked doing hamburgers and hot dogs with the kids. So maybe we'll do that. And then, now I don't have to be perfect underneath since it is just getting, like, if I do this one under, right, because we see distress on distress, and I do this one over in its own right, gives some interesting, I'm really bummed I'm covering that, but I don't think I could rip that in a way, well, maybe. I'm going to try, aren't I? I'm going to try to see if I can not lose it all. Let's give that a shot. Okay. I'm like, I don't really want to lose that lovely green. It's a paintbrush splotch edge thing. So, okay. Let's get this glued down then, because we have no time to waste. I didn't want to be here for too long, but the biggest thing was just gluing down your gussets. It is, you know, flattening everything out. It is trying to cut a hole, a slot, into that back fold to make it a full pocket. All the way down so that it's not just a tiny little tuck, because we can have other areas that, like I said, I have a couple other different pockets where I don't need to, gosh, this is so much glue for this page. Don't know if I'm going to go all the way to the middle. Maybe a quick crossing in the middle. I'm like, right, I feel like that is so much glue. I'm like, I feel like that is so much glue. And I get all the glue in the world in the middle, and I forget to glue the outside. I'm like, no, it's all about gluing the outside right now. And of course, I just put all that glue on. And I'm going to have to make sure that once I have this settled in the bottom where I think I want it, I'm going to have to get that one piece tucked under there and I don't forget. Right, here we go. Yeah, just because you know how this goes. Once it's down, it's down. We just have that one piece that is definitely going to be here, and we don't want to lose that placement, that idea. Okay, then we can put it down, because we know the other one, it moved. Oh, it moved. No. They want all my glue for nothing, right? Now this is the outer edge. This is going to get sewed, so it's going to have some things that are going to sort of block it. I got to have a fun way to glue that in. I think I know our way to still get that sort of figure 8 that we use with Gail and sewing in a signature. But I think I also need to do like a shoelace type of crisscross up it also to keep it so where they will open. I have a lady who does a lot of really cool ways to sew in signatures into bookbinding, which is a little different because you have all these holes down the binding and you sew in your signatures accordingly. So I got to figure out how to go from a spine to a flat and how to do it. So I got to take all my hand stitching and so-called skills and see if I can put him to good work. See if I can figure this out. Try not to put my head in the works. Okay, so let's get this down pretty good because we want to make sure when I put the next piece on top, things aren't too wishy-washy. So yeah, what's up with their plans? How's the crafting going? This would be the most recent digital. I don't know what I did. I can't remember. Oh, I did, what did I do before? Oh, the fairy one. Yeah. Which I'm helping my friend make a cute journal with the fairy one. Since I had no immediate plans and she was in love with it. I said, okay, well, she's like, I want to make a journal so bad. So I am helping her with my extra, giving her my printouts and then, going ahead and like, what some of the extra fluff that I have, since it's all about using it up this year, right? Helping her make a journal. So I asked her if I go, but can I make you the cover? And she's like, yeah, of course. So I get to enjoy some purple some purple work on that end, so I'm stoked. Okay, so there we go. See, we're already thickening up. It has that wonderful sound, though. If you're still into that lovely, yummy, crunchy feel and sound, lunch bags are great for that. So there you go, right? Oh, but I don't know if, I don't know if she has a chance to watch me, so hopefully she'll hear me, because I always forget to mention. Any of you who do print out digitals, and I think we all just sort of got used to it, but I think some of the newer people who are out there are not used to it. Your printer, unless you print, if you have the option to play with your printer settings as you print stuff, you can print your pages actual size, and you can print them at photo borderless setting. Adds a little bit more extra ink because it thinks it's a photo. You can make sure it says letter size. You make sure that it's using your letter paper, and it will print off the page for you. But I know a lot of you use Apples and iPads, and they don't give you that option. You're lucky if it says fit to print, depending on the JPEG or PDF format that you're using. So you're going to have a white border around your print work. I have a white border around my print work, right? I said right now mine's offset. For some reason I have this tiny little line here and a thicker line here. I can't figure out what setting changed on that one. But most of us who will make a standard journal, an 8.5 by 5 or 8 by 5.5 or 8 by 5 journal, we do cut off the white. So then we make a 9 by 6 cover over the top. There's plenty of room around it. It hides the pages. If you want, of course, to see more of your pages, and you make your cover a little smaller. I love that Rhoda uses all of her paper, and she borders, white borders, she covers it with scraps and papers, and, she will cut and glue down borders around all her pages, and I give her props for that, because that's way more work than I want to do. But yeah, most people cannot get the white border to go away. It's, like I said, it requires a little extra oomph, and I have a lot of graphic programs, so I can sit there and make that work for me. But, if you're using an Apple or whatever, and your only option is fit to print, you're going to get that natural border, printer white border, and you can do one of two things. You can, yes, cover it with another border. You can seriously distress it. You get your brushes and you ink that white to no end. You can print it on cream paper, so that way it has a natural edge, or you cut it off. And it makes your standard 8 1/4 to 8 inch page, comes down to, or, 8 inch tall. And when you fold it in half, you get to 5 1/4 width pages. So on the skinny ones, you definitely have to trim it all off, and you definitely get, that less than 4 1/4 page, which makes it a tall skinny, 4 inches, because you cut off all those weird edges, and, you don't get a full 11 inch page, but you're at 10 and a half. We're doing 10 and a half right now, or a good 10 and a half right now. 0, and we are down to, over 10 and a half inches. So you don't have to trim a lot off. Printers will, they will cut a less border if you do actual size, but your papers might get a little closer to some of your favorite images. And if you do fit to print, you're definitely going to get a wider border, but you're going to get everything that we created on the page for you. So it just depends on your thing. It really depends. And it's okay to cover the white. It's okay to cut the white off and make the pages a little bit smaller, which means you cut everything down to match, and away you go. So anyway, Rhoda, if you're watching, I don't let you know. Don't ever stress. It's not you. It's not like you're like, oh my gosh, I can't never get rid of that white border. Nope, that is just a standard printer default, and most people's, print app on their phones or their iPads or their tablets, and they're going to give you that natural white border. That's just printer's default. It requires a little bit extra oomph and mayhem to get it to, leave that option. So you can, cover it around the edges or distress the crap out of it. Sorry about that. I should say distress it to death, like I do here. I know you're going to see some of the white, right? I didn't want to see it, so I really heavily inked it so that we wouldn't see obvious white. Or cut it off, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. And that's where it's fun, because it does give you a little bit of an edge. So when you use the ruler or the deckled, you have something to cut off, and you're not losing a bunch of your image, because you can cut right along here, and you're just cutting off the white. You're barely coming into your print work and you're not losing, you know, 1/8 of an inch of your print work when you're doing the deckled edge thing. So anyway, heads up, I wanted to bring that up. I'm like, nope, you're not the only one. Everybody has white, even myself, unless I go, hey, by the way, I really don't want that white, so I'm gonna make it an effort. But I have to also make sure that I'm like, oh, hey, I don't mind losing a little bit of the girl or the bunny or the whatever. So there's our front. Okay, so we got it in, it's glued, we got the cover topped from top to bottom. The cover's pretty much covered with a piece of paper, which is going to make it thicker. And did some stuff, so now I can keep decorating with my envelope, and it's going to be a really fun front cover. Now the inside, a little easier. Like I said, this time around, I want to, again, I'll go all the way across. I don't know why I had 2 pieces of paper last time. I have no clue. I think I got ahead of myself and did something. I do not know. Now the fun part is leveling it up, because the bag isn't perfectly folded and the bag isn't perfectly glued. It means that your papers aren't either. So like if I try to straighten this out up here, no matter how hard I try, I'm crooked down here. So I think I'd rather go straight as I can down the side, because this can be ribbon. I can hide this in so many ways if I wanted to, or I'm just going to leave it that fun edge, and I'm not going to stress over it. So, and I lost my ruler. I'm like, where did my ruler go? And in this case, this time I'm going to try to lean up against just I'm lining up my ruler with just inside the bag. I know you guys can barely see it, so that if I mess up, I'm not going too far. And I think I'm actually going right outside the bag, because watch, it'll be perfect, but I am terrible at this, and so, you know, I'm not marking it and trying to do it. So, haha, it worked, of course. All right, more paper scraps. Now the fun part will be, now I could start gluing it down, haha, and to a certain point, and then so it doesn't move. And I may do that actually. Let's give that a shot. Let me distresses, because normally I would try to line it up again, and I would try to trim the bottom. But I have a feeling if I try that, I am going to like move, and I'm going to have a weird edge, and I'm not going to be able to tuck it under. So, 2 things. We don't want to go too far either way. But let's give this a shot. I love this paper. Some of these came out, and I just was dumbfounded. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, right? Can't believe I created that page. Can't believe it layered up that way. I'm like, yay, finally. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes you just get going, and you find the right elements, and you're like, okay, that works. Let me have some fun. But this kit is using up all kinds of fun random pieces from what's in my libraries. I download a lot of graphics in a year due to the websites that I have access to. And, you know, you get going and you're like, oh my gosh, I have more of that than I know what to do it. So I don't want to perfectly fold it, but I'm going to do a little bit of a fold so I know exactly where I want to go with it. And let's see, since I can't rip that page, we're going to go this way. And, okay, I'm not sure what that was. And we're going to do here, because remember, I want it to go inside the pocket. And I can see the pocket here and pocket here. So, yeah, it works pretty good. Yep, okay. Ta-da! And that I don't have to distress. I mean, I ripped it just to rip it in case it shows up. But for the most part, I just want to tuck it. Ta-da! Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It's tucked. So now, even if I put a tiniest little hole here, which I don't know. I did a lot of holes on the other one. A lot of thumb notches, and it's a little, and then this ended up off-centered, so I was a little frustrated, but we are going to stuck a bunch of stuff in there, so this is just going to be, I may put like some kind of flat flower or something to help hide the whole rigmarole, because I'm like, maybe what I might do is this time around, instead of trying to do individuals, maybe we'll pocket it, and I'll just do one, and whatever it grasps works for me, right? So, 2, and I also don't know how many, you know, I have a pocket here. I'm debating on a pocket here. Now, what I had up here for a top pocket here, I can't have because I don't have another one of these. So, as much as I love what's going in here, which is irritating me because it is popping up. I had to make sure there's something nice and tall here, because, yeah, that keeps popping up. Yeah, nothing really sticks that well. I've tried that, and now I'm trying the glitter glue again, hoping something will stick. right. I just know because it's slippery, it just pops, like it all glues right out and it's not really sticking. Who knows? I don't think I want to do this again to the front. I want to do a different type of, another type of pocket, something else to that pocket. Now I do have the wider doubled pocket, and maybe we'll do that. Here we have the vellum. Let's see, let's get the vellum pocket on this one. Now that it's, I'm dropping stuff left and right. But I don't want to accidentally step on it because that would just, you know, kill me. All right, so here we are going to cut it, and we're going to mark this one this time as best I can. Haha. See, last time I just sort of cut it. Like I clipped and clipped, right? Now this one I know where it's going to be, but this one I got to guess. So again, we do want it to tuck underneath the best I can, if I can get it back in there. Oh. So we're all doing different things. I know we're all working on stuff, and you know, summer, officially summer is still like a month away, but summer break is closer than some if you have grandkids or children. School is around the corner. Some are graduating colleges already. Others are, you know, high school and elementary schools, at least for my neck of the woods, is almost out. They're counting down the days. We have 8 or 9 days left. My oldest has 4 more days next week, and then 3 days of finals. My youngest has tomorrow, but then 4 days next week, and 3 days of just fluff. I can't say it's actual class because they didn't really do a whole lot of finals in an elementary school. Even for 6th grade, that became a, that's not happening type of deal. Now, that's my only fun part. My only worry with this one is that it doesn't cover the hole, and it seems odd, and which means I do have to remember to glue this really well down here so it doesn't go past that point. But is it going to keep catching if I don't? So I almost want to cut this even narrower, and then I need to get this taken care of. But everything I did got ripped, and sort of ripped off, so I need to sort of hide the fact that there is some issues. I got some issues going on. So I don't know, because if I don't tuck it, I really want to tuck it down farther to where you can't see, you know, the 2 different colors. Because I had stuffed something in there, and then I tried to reverse it, and I'm like, ugh. But I have it glued, so I have to cut it thinner if I want to do that. I want to make the pocket more narrow and tuck down, but glue, and that's the hard part, is gluing it. Is once you got this all going and you're trying to fix a problem, you are trying to, you know what? I'm going to slightly round these corners to help, oops, that's vellum, it cuts easily. So that maybe if it's a little more narrow, it will tuck itself in better. Oh, that's definitely in the way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, fingers are not where they used to be. Okay. Well, it tucks in a little bit, but it's not perfect in any way. Can't put the flower there because I'm putting this. I just feel like it needs to be tucked down farther. Okay. I don't want to cut off any green, so we're going to cut the pink side off, and we're going to keep, we're almost there. It's almost there. I'm going to have to cut a little bit of green off. Gonna have to cut a little bit off, because it's not quite allowing me to get it in there. Like trimming a bush. You just keep trimming, and pretty soon you have no bush, but so let's hope we have no, you know, we still have a pocket when we're done here. This is all seeable. I don't get good. Alright, well, I'm not going to keep fussing with it here on camera, but we are going to try to drop it down to where you can't tell that that one's there. It sort of helps block them out, but I want to make sure there's a nice clean glue. So this pocket stops where it ends. This is up top. This is, you know, to the bottom. All good. But I will finesse that one later. No. I could match it, but it doesn't match. I want to be able to bring a little bit of all colors in here. Blue and green. I don't want to just do both, one or the other. Now, on the back side, I did do the blue-green. Back here, where you can barely see it. And I do have a vellum. So if I wanted a vellum pocket up here in some form, you know, that may not be the way to do it. This may be something I want inside instead, or in another form. Sorry, I'm going through my stash over here because I'm like, geek. So I have normal blue-green for the pocket if I want down here. Distress it, put it on here so that I can put a cover over it. The other thing I was looking into, which would be really nice and work with this, was that since this pocket is, the outside's definitely larger and this sort of matches, I'm wondering if doing a nice wide double pocket up here would be nice, right? So we can do the blue here, whatever form, right? Let's go blue, gray. You guys can see all this. Can I see? Yeah, okay. So we can do blue down here, blue up here. She's there. And then if we continue on with somewhat matchy, we've got this pocket that goes over it, which could be, you know, another hint of that, whatever widest piece I have. I'm wondering if that's a pocket. What if we, that's a pocket, right? All the way down. We put this one here that stops here. These two go up to here if they want to. This one overlaps a little bit. And then I could make like a little ephemera pocket there. It's a little more shallow if I wanted to create more little things, or you guys have little things you wanted to put in here. We can make sort of this shelf pocket. And I can glue it here. I can fold this under to give it some width. And we could tuck a bunch of cute little things in here because I really like the daisy. We can even do that end where there's a little bit more oomph. All right, I think that's how we're going to do the inside. We're going to do that little pocket. We're going to do this pocket. We're going to do this. And I will do, you know, this guy here on the top. Though I'm wondering if this time we just glue. So doing a double maybe. Now on this one, we can make this more prominent. And I can just glue this down. And, ooh, we can have fun with that. Maybe we can reverse this. We can put something here, put something here. We can go this way, and I can glue this down on this side, this thinner side down on the paper, and we can make this an up tuck type deal. There we go. Because I have plenty of paper everywhere to cover all of this. And again, using some more blue or using some more green. We have like this green strip. Nope, that's not actually big enough. But we have pieces to cover both the flap and that. I actually have some large triangles left over, but I don't think they're big enough. I'm like, ooh. Even that is almost perfect. I'm like, almost. Does it mean I couldn't do this and trim it to fit? So we have sort of an offset pocket. That would actually be sort of cool, guys. Let's use that, and we'll offset the triangle a little bit. Right? And we can do that. It's a little bit of matchy on this end, but I'll have to see if I have any more pieces, but maybe I can collage some pieces in here. So we can offset this one, put it on top of the blue, have the blue in this here, and the daisy up there. So I think it'll be really fun. And, you know, we're going to offset it too. I want to make sure that everything is not too thick to be sewing through. So I may make sure I bring this in just a little bit, one way or whatever side I need to. I'll double check. I think this side needs to be brought in just a little bit. So when I'm sewing, I'm not sewing through 50 million pockets or 50 million layers to do this. But, all right. I think we've got it planned. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You know, decorating, working, conversing here with all the fun pieces of this journal, and taking, I said, just a lunch bag, and see, it's already so much thicker. Oh my gosh! And did I just close this? And I just glued it shut, didn't I? Whew, okay, I'm taking that part off. It's already so much thicker, and we have so much more stout to it, just with two really good pieces of paper. This is my 32-pound bright white paper. Makes all the difference in the world. Now, of course, I don't have my pocket here in the front or in the back. We got to make sure we have our hole. It was pretty in depth in the front, or in the back one. That came a little crazy. So I definitely don't have it as tightly or as deeply pocketed this time. My thumb notch is also crazy this time around. But that's okay. At the front, we may not put anything in this. This may already have enough going on that I may not want to. So I may decide to do that. Maybe on this one, we will make it a shorter pocket. Real quick, I'm really thinking the back's good to have all the way down. If I really want something for, it might be like a writing board we may put in that back cover. So I don't want it to go all the way down because I'm going to want them to be able to put it in their book to be able to write on it. So we'll do like maybe a writing board, even if it's a skinny, narrow writing board, and we'll put it in the back cover, which is a great way to use up scraps and collage things. And then the front here, I'm going to pick a spot as far down as I can go, and we're going to seal up this pocket to where it is not as deep. That way whatever I create with it is not so crazy, but I want to do that first because I do not want to be trying to do everything else beforehand. I'm trying to think of a good way to do this. I'm not having a whole, well, one, my glue is being temperamental. Two, where's my things? I'm trying to figure out a way to get some glue down there where I have control of it. Ha ha. So I'm going to try to use a glue. I'm going to try to use this. And I'm going to carefully brush some glue down there. Ha ha. Right. I'm like, because I can't open it. It's not a problem. I just got to pick an area and try to make something of a straight line. I think it's probably not going to work. Let's see. It really probably, I'm not able to do it as well as I'd like, but that sort of worked. Not got to here. Well, this is a good depth, but maybe not exactly what I was hoping for. Easier said than done, ladies and gentlemen. Right? It looks really deep, and then when you do it, you're like, well, it's not that deep. But maybe now that I have a line sort of started, I can get it a little bit more in depth now without ripping any holes in it, right? Let's try that. Yeah, looks like there's goo on that, so that's good. That's good. I see goo. But that way it sort of fits the depths of these guys. It's not, they're not all the same. Different things fit. And so we don't have a full pocket in there, so it doesn't seem so overwhelming to figure out. Oh, these are really cheap. That's okay. We aren't trying to figure out how to fill it. And putting too much weight on the page. We don't want to put too much weight in the covers and then, you know, it fall apart on us. So we don't want to do that either. So there we go. All right. I think we're about at a point where we can stop because I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I hit 40 minutes quite easily whenever I'm not blink. Whenever I blink, right? Yeah, so look, it sort of stops right there. Not right there, but it's right about here is where we're stopping. And these guys are going to get glued right above, right on here. And this is, yes, this is the inside. So we're going to go all the way out to the edge here, but I'm going to come in just a little bit here so that as to not have one more layer to go through. And, yeah, see, 57 minutes. Oh my gosh, a full hours, guys. But you're not seeing me as often, so full hours aren't so bad, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate that you came along and watched me do my how-to tutorial on what it means to take a lunch bag and turn it into a ephemera holder covers. We are definitely, oh, that I don't want to do. Hold on. Yeah, when you're spacing out your double stackable corners, you don't really want to glue this one down. It helps keep things in place, but you don't want to block it to where you can't, you know, I don't think. I think when you do this, I want to be able to go all the way over with it. I don't want it to have to stop here. We can only put something here and only put something on this side. I don't think. I'm trying to think about it now. Go, wait a minute, maybe I do. Here, where's my journal cards? So I know what I don't want to do is take a chance of stifling my ability to put my, stifling this. So if I cut this too tight, this will be too tight. And I can't put a second one back there because I'd be glued down. So nope, we're going to leave it open. I want to have plenty of room to put as much of the ephemera that I cut out in here. Now this one, on the other hand, I do this side because I don't want the smaller pocket to fall out. Anything to fall out of the smaller front pocket. And that's me personally. So, all right, thank you so much for joining me on this little how-to use up your lunch take-out paper bags to create yourself a tall, skinny journal, ephemera, folio, ephemera, holder, cover, whatever. All the different things you can possibly do with it, but it is possible to widen them up, keep them tall for the larger ones, utilize them in any way and every way possible. And watching me use my newest kit, since I did not do a flip through on this side, there's a beautiful flip through on my Instagram. So follow me on my Instagram and my Jolene Burt Facebook page. All links are down below. I don't think the Facebook page is, but my Crafters of Jewel Design is down there, and you can sort of backtrack from there. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen, as we are working on, you know, the kit. We are working on making our covers. We have a cute little, all tall pages, so it is a nice thing to work on, play with, scrap with, color cut. You know, it has all its emphasis. It has all its fun, all its gorgeous pieces. Cut it out, tweak it, collage it, leave it tall, add your favorite papers to it. This is my doily lace collection here. So it has some great pages to add to it. Yeah, so there we go. We are on and out and running, and I'm way over, and I love you all. Thank you all very much for joining me, and we'll talk to you guys all very soon. Bye-bye.